Hallo Leute, welcome back to my channel Deutsch Flicks, where German is so fun that even your dog starts understanding Netflix scenes.
It's standing right behind you.
So in today's episode, we're gonna talk about a new category of verbs called Trennbare Verben, separable verbs. Sind Sie bereit? Are you ready? Los geht's. So the word trennen comes from the verb trennen, which means to separate. Trennen means to separate. And Verben means verbs. So these verbs are called separable verbs. Now, why do they called separable verbs? Let's understand this with the help of one example. So in German, the verb anrufen, it's a Trennbares Verb, separable verb, because it consists of two parts. An is called prefix and rufen is called suffix. This is called separable verb because when we use them in a sentence, they get separated. Anrufen means to call. To call as in to call on phone. Okay, so this concept is pretty much similar to phrasal verbs of English. For example, to break, which means to shatter or destroy something. Now, if I add a particle up, now the meaning changes entirely. To break up means you're ending a relationship with someone. Let's add another article, free. Now again the meaning changes. To break free means you're escaping something. Or I'll take one more particle, to break in. Now it means you're entering something by force and definitely not legally. In the context of burglary, we use to break in. So you can see, even though all of these verbs use break, the added word changes the meaning significantly. That's exactly what happens in German with Trennbare Verben or separable verbs. Let's come back to the verb anrufen. Now, if I talk about only rufen, it means to call. To call as in calling someone by name. Hey Felix. That is what the call here means. But if I add a prefix called an to it, the meaning changes entirely. Now it means you're calling someone on phone. To call on phone. Now let's discuss the position of prefix and suffix in a sentence. Now position of prefix, it is always fixed. It will be at the end of the sentence. Whereas suffix can take either second or first position. Now why does suffix has this liberty? Think about it. Recall that episode Types of Sentences wherein we saw three types: W-Frage, Aussagesatz, Ja-Nein-Frage. So second position is fixed for W-Frage, W question, oder Aussagesatz, statement sentence. Whereas first position for Ja-Nein-Frage, yes-no question. Now, based on whatever we have learnt so far, I want you to translate this sentence. Okay, let's discuss the translation. So, I is called ich. To call is called anrufen. Now, what I'll do is, I'll conjugate this part, suffix, according to ich, which will be rufe. And what about prefix? That will go to the end of the sentence. So I'll write an at the end. Now, ich rufe an simply means I call. But I have to say I call my mother. Now, what is my mother called in German? It's called meine Mutter. Ich rufe meine Mutter an is the correct translation. So what we are doing is, in every sentence, what you're supposed to do is just conjugate the suffix according to the subject, and your prefix will go to the end of the sentence. So according to me, Trennbare Verben are not separable verbs, they are magical verbs. I'll give you some examples. Take bringen. Now bringen is very close to the English verb to bring. But if I add a prefix to it, mitbringen, now the meaning changes entirely. It means to bring along. To bring along. I'll add another prefix, umbringen, which has really nothing to do with bring. Umbringen means to kill someone, to murder someone. Now see the power of the prefix. So for your understanding, what I'll do is I'll separate the verb by doing this, so that you get to know, okay, this second part will be suffix and first part will be prefix going forward. Now let's discuss the position of suffix and prefix depending on different types of sentences. So we'll take the same verb, anrufen, which means to call on phone. Now what you have to do is try translating these sentences, and then we'll discuss the answers. Now, if you have followed my series, you'll see, okay, there are a lot of grammar topics involved in these sentences. So be careful with your answers. Okay, let's discuss the translation. When does she call her mother? Okay, I know the verb which I have to use is anrufen. Now, the translation for when in German is called wann. Then I have does, but there's no need of translating this does in English. Remember the type of sentence. After V-Frage, verb has to come. Now obviously I cannot just write anrufen as it is. I will take suffix, which is rufen, and I'll conjugate it according to Z, which is the subject. So I'll say one roofed Z. Now what will happen with the prefix? It will go at the end. And question mark. Now one roofed sie an means when does she call? Now we are left with her mother. Her mother is called ihre Mutter. Then we have he is calling his father. Okay. So there's no need of translating is and this ing thing, because remember that episode wherein I told you ich trinke. When you say ich trinke in German, it has three possible translation. It means I drink, it means I am drinking, and it means I will drink. So one sentence in German is doing the job of three. So what I'll do is I'll take the subject er, Then this suffix I'll conjugate according to air roofed. I'll throw the prefix at the end, an. Now we are left with his father. So his father literally would mean sein Vater. But there is a grammatical error. Es gibt einen Fehler. What is the mistake here? You cannot forget the old rules. Rufen conjugated according to air is in nominative case. Then what about his father, sein Vater? That will come in accusative case. It is the object. So what happens to der in accusative? It changes to den. Similarly, your sein will be changed to seinen. Er ruft seinen Vater an. Then we have will they call their uncle. Again, there's no need of translating will in German. So ja, nein Frage, verb should be in the first place. So I'll write rufen, which I'll conjugate according to they, in German sie. Now it is the correct conjugation. I'll throw prefix at the end, an with question mark. Now rufen sie an means will they call, do they call, are they calling? Totally depends on the context. Now we have their uncle. So their uncle will be ihr Onkel. Now again, onkel is masculine. So in accusative case, their changes to den. So onkel, ihr Onkel will be changed to ihren Onkel. If you are frustrated with the case system in German, like what is nominative, accusative, dative, so I've created 2 videos on that. You can watch that. Now I'll give you a few more sentences to translate, and this time we'll use a new separable verb. Aufstehen. Now if I talk about normal stehen, it means to stand. But aufstehen as a whole, now the meaning will change entirely, right? Now aufstehen means to get up, as in you're leaving the bed. So you have to translate when do they get up. I get up at 7:45 a.m. and does he get up at 8:30 a.m. So here you have to use unofficial time. Don't just write 7:45 in digit form. I want you to write that unofficially. Now let's discuss the translation. So we have when do they get up. When is called wann. Now I know in case of W-Frage, verb takes second position. So this stehen will take second position, which I will conjugate according to they, which is called sie. Wann stehen sie? At the end, I'll throw the prefix, which will be auf. Anything left? No, nothing left. So this is the correct translation. Wann stehen sie auf? When do they get up? Then Aussagesatz, I get up at 7:45 a.m. Ich. Now what is get up called? Aufstehen. So I'll conjugate suffix according to ich stehe. I'll throw auf at the end, and then I'll be just left with 7:45. Now 7:45, 15 minutes are remaining to be 8. So it will be Viertel vor, quarter to 8. Stehe Viertel vor 8. But we are missing out on this word at. Which preposition do we use with time? We use the preposition Ich stehe Viertel vor 8 auf. Viertel means quarter. Quarter to 8. Then we have, does he get up at 8:30 a.m.? So in case of yes no question, verb takes first position, right? So I'll write stehen at the beginning, but I'll conjugate it according to the subject, which is er. Steht means does he stand, but I want to use get up, so I'll write auf at the end. Now I'm left with at 8:30. We just saw what is at called in German. It is Now 8:30. For 30 minutes we use the word halb, and then we increase this r by 1 and say 9. Halb 9. Steht er 8:30 auf? Does he get up at 8:30? So in case of unofficial time, we have 12-hour format. There's no need of translating AM and PM. There's no AM or PM in official time. But if you still want to be specific here, maybe you can use the word abends after that, or morgens. So morgens in the morning, abends in the evening. So I can say Viertel vor 8 morgens auf. Similarly, steht er 8:30 morgens auf. Now, whatever examples we have seen so far, we had only one verb. Now, what happens if we have another verb, let's say modal verb? So, I want you to think of the translation for this. One hint for you: to pick up is again separable verb. In German it is called abholen. And want is called wollen in German, which is a modal verb. Like I said, old rules will stay the same. They will still prevail. You can see the verb to want is being conjugated in English, right? If it was he, I would have written here wants. So one thing is for sure, that only wollen will be conjugated, and we have to use abholen in infinitive form. Now when we use modal verb, the main verb goes to the end of the sentence in infinitive form. So the main verb here is abholen. At the end of the day, separable verb is a main verb only. So I'll conjugate this sentence by saying ich will, I want, ich will. At the end, I'll write abholen as it is. Now it means I want to pick up. Whom? My father. So my father, literally I'll say mein Vater, but then I have to pay attention to the case. We have nominative ich, so that mein Vater is accusative. So der Vater changes to den Vater in accusative. So mein will be changed to meinen. Ich will meinen Vater abholen. Always remember, we conjugate only modal verb, and our main verb, doesn't matter what it is, our main verb goes to the end of the sentence in infinitive form. Infinitive form means no conjugation. Do not touch this. Just write it as it is. Now I want you to translate this sentence. Let's discuss the answer. So the modal verb is können here, and main verb is pick up, which means abholen. So I'll conjugate the verb können according to er. So kann er. I'll throw the main verb abholen at the end in infinitive form. Now I'm just left with his aunt. So his aunt literally is called seine Tante. And in accusative case, D remains D. Hence, seine remains seine. Okay. Now there's a concept called double infinitives. Itself the name suggests that there will be two infinitives. I'll give you the example. Let's take the verb kennen. Now, kennen in German means to know someone. And then we have the verb lernen, which means to learn. But in German, we also have a verb called kennenlernen, which is double infinitive. And the meaning is to get to know someone. And such verbs, double infinitives, they behave just like separable verb, wherein you conjugate the second part and first part goes to the end of the sentence as it is. If you were to translate, I'm getting to know my girlfriend, you will use this concept of double infinitive. Now I'm giving you time to translate this sentence, then we'll discuss the answer. Alright, so double infinitives, they behave just like separable verb, Trennbare Verben. So I'll conjugate this part will go at the end. Suffix I'll conjugate, prefix will go at the end. So I'll conjugate lernen according to ish. Kennen will go at the end. Now I'm left with my girlfriend, which will be meine Freundin. I'll give you one more example of double infinitive. Let's take schlafen, which means to sleep. Let's take gehen, which means to go. And schlafen gehen is double infinitive, which will behave just like a separable verb. Meaning will change. Now it will mean to go to sleep. To go to sleep, to go to bed. Now try translating I go to sleep at 10:30. So translation will be I go to sleep, as in I'll conjugate this second part. Ich gehe. At the end will be schlafen. I'll write it here. Now ich gehe schlafen means I go to sleep. But at 10:30, halb 11. Ich gehe halb 11 schlafen. In English, we do not use phrasal verbs as much as we do in German, separable verbs. German language is filled with Trennbare Verben. In order to understand them better, I have also come up with one text. So let's try to understand this entire reading comprehension. Okay, so the heading reads die Einladung. Einladung means invitation. So this invitation, lesen Sie und beschreiben Sie. We have to read this invitation and describe, was wollen die Freunde machen. What do the friends want to do? And the subject of this invitation is Betreff means subject. Psst, eine Überraschung für Sophia. Überraschung means surprise. So it's a surprise for Sophia, who all are writing this email. Two people, Mark and Anna. So they are planning some surprise for the girl called Sophia. Hallo liebe Freunde von Sophia. Hello, dear friends or lovely friends of Sophia. Sophia hat Geburtstag. Der Geburtstag means birthday. So Sophia has birthday. Unsere Idee für das Geschenk ist ein Tag mit Freunden. Idee means idea. Die Idee means idea. And das Geschenk means gift. So our idea for the gift is a day with friends. Macht ihr mit? Now what is the verb here? The verb here is mitmachen. Mitmachen means to participate. So normal machen means to do and mitmachen means to participate. So the question is, are you guys participating? Wir laden Sophia ein. So what is the verb here? In this sentence, wir laden Sophia ein. The verb is einladen, which means to invite. So that sentence means we are inviting Sophia. Unser Überraschungstag fängt am 18.07. um 10 Uhr an. So in this sentence we have a verb called anfangen, which is also irregular verb. A changes to a umlaut. So anfangen means to begin or to start. So our surprise day starts on 18th of 7th, as in July, at 10 o'clock. Treffpunkt am Bahnhof. Treffpunkt means meeting point. Treffen means to meet. And Bahnhof, der Bahnhof means railway station. Now the meeting point is Bahnhof, railway station. Wir holen dann zusammen Sophia ab. Now in this sentence, wir holen dann zusammen Sophia ab, the verb is abholen. Abholen, which means to pick up. So, we will together pick up Sophia. Wir machen einen Ausflug mit dem Fahrrad. Der Ausflug means trip or excursion. So we'll do a trip with the bicycle, mit dem Fahrrad. Das Fahrrad, bicycle. Und ein Picknick. We'll also do a picnic. Getränke und Essen bringen wir mit. Now in this line, don't think the verb is called bringen. No, it's mitbringen, which means to bring along. Essen means food. And Getränke, beverages. So we will bring along beverages and food. Der Tag ist das Geschenk für Sophia. The day that we are planning is the gift for Sophia. Wir sammeln 10 Euro pro Person ein. Now in this line, the verb is not sammel, it's einsammeln. You can also see the prefix at the end. Einsammeln means to collect or contribute. So we'll collect 10 Euros per person. Bei Regen essen wir zusammen. Regen means rain. Zusammen means together. So during rain, when it rains, we will eat together und gehen ins Kino. We'll go to cinema. Kino, cinema. Wir rufen morgens an. So in this sentence, the verb is anrufen, which means to call. So we'll call in the morning oder schicken eine Nachricht, or we'll send a message. Schicken means to send. And die Nachricht means message. So we'll send a message or we'll call in the morning. Hoffentlich könnt ihr alle mitkommen. Now in this line, we have a modal verb können and then separable verb Trennbares Verb is at the end, untouched in infinitive form. So hopefully you guys can all mitkommen, which means to come along. Mitkommen, to come along. So hopefully you guys can come along. Achtung, Sophia weiß nichts. Achtung means attention. Sophia weiß nichts. Sophia doesn't know anything. So this verb is called wissen, which means to know. And that's how you conjugate it. Nichts means nothing. So it's a surprise for Sophia. Sophia doesn't know anything about this plan. Viele Grüße. At the end, what do you write in the letter? You say, best regards. Mark und Anna. So this letter is written on behalf of Mark und Anna. Okay, you just survived another grammar topic, and seriously, if you have made this far without crying or throwing away your notebook, then you definitely deserve a medal from me. And now you can flex those new skills, so drop your best sentence in the comment section using a separable verb. And don't ghost me like a weak prefix. Like, subscribe and share. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.
Like and subscribe.